Ooh.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the WMGSO Twitch stream. I'm your host, Sham Watermelon Farm, and today we are featuring The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time with my guest, Chris. We are going to be focusing a little more in depth on the melodies and motifs of Zelda today. So not focusing on a specific arrangement this time, but we hope that you will enjoy our chat. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, let's press start, and we are going to start a little... Nope. So we're actually going to start after the Great Deku Tree. We're going to be doing primarily Child Link on the stream today, starting off in Kakariko Village. Just kidding, in Kokiri Forest. One of the caves. So I will run around a little bit. We're going to be visiting various locales in our stream today, starting here. Probably going to end up in the Dodongo's Cavern. So enjoy. So this is the first theme you hear in the game itself. It's the first major locale. It's the starting tutorial area, all that good stuff. There's Navi shouting hey, as usual. We are actually still in dawn right now, so the music hasn't started yet. Let's give it a couple. I just realized, like, wait a minute.
Time actually doesn't advance here.
Gotcha.
So you have to step out to Overworld if you want time to advance.
So let's go out to Hyrule Field.
Yeah. And then I'll start to talk about, do a little music theory refresher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we had a fair amount of music theory banter on the stream, but we definitely, I would say that none of us are music theorists, so.
Right. So first I'm going to give a little background about myself.
Go for it, yeah.
I'm a doctoral candidate at Northwestern University, and there I do primarily I research online digital cultures, mostly related to video games, but also sometimes other things, online troll culture, things like that. But in a past life, I did music theory and did history of computing as related to the production of sound in video games. And so that's what I'll be drawing on mostly today. And Ocarina of Time is a really great example when you're thinking about how sound works in video games as compared to anything else. And when I'm talking during this stream, I'm going to be wanting to try and emphasize not so much how the music in Ocarina of Time is like a good example of Western classical art music. Hi, Joe.
Hey!
But about what it is about the sound and music in Ocarina of Time that is part of its status as a video game as opposed to a film, as opposed to concert music. So, even though it's certainly true that you could listen to the music from Zelda and just treat it as though it were Western classical concert music, right? And you can do your standard analyses based on that, which you guys do when you play, right? When we're thinking about, well, how do we best think about how sound works in video games? Well, we want to actually take into account the gaminess of it, the way that you interact with the media object, the way that the music relates to all that, and so forth. But don't worry, we will still be talking about notes, pitches, and chords. So let's look at a couple of those. Yeah.
And so we're coming to the end of the day cycle of Hyrule Field. Should I do the Song of Sun and bring us back, or do you think now's a good time to talk about this aspect of the game where we have our main overworld and then also the night version as well?
I think I do want to start talking about modality first. So even after I've just given this lecture about not using Western classical music theory might not be the best way to talk about sound in video games, I'm not going to do it. So the this game is relatively parsimonious in terms of its approach to harmony and melodic construction, and the bass for almost everything is from the Ocarina pitches. And the Ocarina pitches are D, F natural, A, and G. I'm going to play that on the piano now. So it's these notes right here, and there's also an octave. So those of you who remember your freshman music theory, this is a half diminished chord. In standard Roman numeral notation, it's used as a predominant chord, usually in a minor mode, resolving like this. But in this game, it's going to work a little differently. What Kondo does in this is he uses combinations of these pitches, again, and sort of produces every possible set of harmonies you could make out of those pitches. And
Just that one line, I can already pick out like 4 of the octaves.
Yeah.
Recognizable.
Yeah. Incidentally, that little chord there does appear in Zelda's. If I play it something like this, I'm gonna mess this up. But
my mic fell off. There we go.
You recognize that?
I do. That's the opening of the fairy fountain.
That's right. That's opening to Fairy Fountain. So, and it's the exact same pitches. And also, one of the first things you hear in this game when you load it up is. Blah blah blah. So at any rate, so essentially, when you're thinking about, okay, how am I going to make a bunch of harmony out of a really limited pitch set? What Kondo does is he takes most of the songs, just takes a couple of the pitches, so just 2 or just 3, and some of them even 2, and then sets them to a particular mode.
Yes.
So now, for those of you who also remember your freshman music theory, modes are essentially when you take the scale, a normal scale. So a C major scale starts on C and ends on C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right, pretty standard. That's the major scale. We're all familiar with it. Similarly, we're all very familiar with the minor scale. Now I'm playing the melodic minor there, not the harmonic minor. But the harmonic minor, of course, is. But you might say to yourself, what happens if I started that scale on a different pitch rather than the one that made the major scale? So when we make the C major scale, we go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But if you take those exact same collection of pitches and you start on a different note, you make a scale that has a slightly different character. So for instance, if I start on D, I get something a little different. Rather than in the standard, if I play that in C. So it turns out, all of these, if you start all of those scales on different pitches, they all have their own name and their own sort of harmonic character. So we won't worry too much about the names for them, but I'll go over them real quick. So if you start on D, sounding like this, that's called the Dorian scale. In this game, you'll recognize that from here's where the Dorian part comes in. And also from the Song of Water. So again, the characteristic thing there is the raised 6th scale degree. It sounds like that.
So what about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you asked.
I was just gonna say. So we're here in Lon Lon Ranch
Right.
now, about to get another Ocarina song. Can you give us a rundown of where Malin's theme falls into this, using the same pitches for the Ocarina tunes?
We can't get the pony, Joe. Sorry, you have to be old to get it.
That's true. Yeah, we can learn her name and we can walk around the pony, but get on the horse, nerd.
Yeah. So
there she goes.
This song uses the same pitches as Zelda's Lullaby.
Is that the song?
Yeah. I think it's up, left, right, or up, right, left. It's one of those.
Yeah, there we go.
I forget what you have to do to get it.
Okay. Sorry.
Just, I think, target her and whip it out. Target her, whip it out.
We did it, everyone!
Sorry, I don't want to get banned.
Okay. Yes, you are banned from being my guest.
Right. So, the pitches there are D, B natural, and A, which are here used. Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it's just D major. Yeah.
You get to use Deku nuts, that's true. That's one advantage of being a child.
You can use Deku sticks too.
That's right.
Yeah.
All the Deku pieces come together into a childhood experience.
So what happens here, as opposed to, if we compare this to the Song of Time, Song of Time uses the pitches, yeah, she likes you.
Hey girl.
Let's take a horse ride. See, we're riding the horse, Joe, you know? Uses the pitches A, F natural, and D. So that's a minor triad. Right. But with this song, we are up here.
So using the same rhythm and the same
notes,
just pitched up.
Just pitched up, and because the pitch content here we have, it's not a triad, right? It's this cluster. We can do a lot of stuff with it. What Kondo does is he interprets this as a 1-6-5 in D major. So. Rather than in the Song of Time, where he uses that to do D Mixolydian.
And Mixolydian is another form of the scale itself, just starting on
different notes, right? So now the way this
in Link's native tongue, Deku means purdy. You're looking very Deku today, my dear. Yes.
So this song and to a certain extent Zelda's Lullaby, because they use that pitch set, are in D major.
Yes.
Right. So this is written using a major mode, and Epona's song is a relatively simple. Just uses a bass descent. Let me know if it's getting to music theory from 1 to 5.
Okay.
So it goes like this. This is the bass. I'll just play it loud.
Ba, ba, ba.
So.
1, 3, 5.
Right. So pretty simple in D major. But going on with some mode talk.
Mode talk.
So, mode talk. Welcome to mode talk. So if we keep on going up the...
I play too much Breath of the Wild every time Link runs down a hill. That'd be a lot faster with the paraglider.
a lot of this game is the experience of going slowly on Hyrule Field.
Yeah. Especially before we get any of the warp songs.
Yeah. So I talked about that if you start on the second scale degree, this one, you can also start on another scale degree.
Can
Tracy,
you?
did you know that?
No.
For example, if you start on the third scale degree, you get this. So it sounds like a minor scale mostly, but the second one is flat. So instead of that's a minor scale, it's
and you're not doing that on purpose. That's just part of the scale progression.
That's just part of the scale progression, right? So this one, which is called the Phrygian mode, does not appear in this game at all.
Huh.
But an example of one that things that do include it is the battle theme from FF6 has it, for example. Yeah. So continuing on up the scale degrees, starting on the 4th. So it's the same as a major scale. This is the major scale, but with a raised 4th. So this is called the Lydian mode, and it appears very prominently in this game because if you take the Saria's song,
Yes.
which is F, A, B natural, that doesn't really work super well in tonal harmony unless you went something like this. Yeah, it's a little weird sounding. So what Kondo does is he sets it just in the Lydian mode. So like that. And again, that's characterized by the raised 4th scale degree. This thing goes on. If we start on the 5th scale degree, we get same as a major scale, except the 7th degree is lowered.
Please ban Spacewalk for being glib. Unfortunately, that is not in our channel rules. Glib is allowed. So I feel like a lot of this use of different modes is actually characteristic of not just Kondo, but of Uematsu and other Japanese composers as well.
Yes.
And that's what, at least for me, when people are just saying, like, you know, what makes game music stand out and makes it unique, a lot of it is this rule breaking, so to speak, is starting
It's not rule breaking, but yeah.
You know, for lack of a better term, but the using the different scales when you wouldn't expect them, and when, you know, maybe you would not necessarily hear in a classical orchestration or in, you know, maybe something from the Romantic period that you hear in a lot of film scores. There's definitely a lot of just sort of changing and manipulating the kind of things that we expect from a soundtrack itself.
Yeah. So the Japanese video game music composers that we think of when we think of Japanese video game music. People like Kondo, Uematsu, Mitsuda, Sakuraba, all of them really heavily rely on what's called mode mixture. Mode mixture is when you are in one key and you just borrow chords from another mode.
Right.
Yeah. This doesn't actually occur super often in this soundtrack.
Sure.
But the prime example of it, actually from the Zelda soundtracks, is the main theme.
Yes.
So this line is in a major mode. That's borrowing from another key. Super common. All these composers use it incessantly. Right. Again, that's borrowing 2 chords from another key. In this game, Kondo doesn't really do a lot of borrowing chords from other keys. He just is using different scales than we would typically expect.
Right.
So if you want to head out to the overworld real quick, I'll talk briefly about how that changes from the standard Legend of Zelda theme.
Yeah, the standard theme was codified in very first Legend of Zelda.
And appears in variations throughout, including this one.
Absolutely. So we have it in...
Yes, I am not including Locrian mode.
Nobody except me likes.
It is very rare. The only example I really know is the song YYZ. It just occurs so rarely, and it doesn't occur in this game at all, even though it could. Yeah.
Let's save here. Okay, we are playing the GameCube version of this game. It is notorious for crashing, which it did about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, which it did several times. It did during our practice run, so... Got him.
Bear with us. Alright, so let's run around a little bit and have a listen to the overworld theme. The cool thing that a hat tip to 8-Bit Music Theory, who's done tons of stuff on Zelda, is that this is actually, of the Zelda canon, the longest version, or iteration rather, of the Zelda Hyrule Field theme. It's like 8 minutes or something like that, and in other games it's like 2 or 3. And just of expansiveness, of exploration, of openness in a way that other games subsequently didn't really do.
Yeah, it's also very harmonically adventurous in the middle section. Well, the overworld theme is done, but anyway, what this overworld theme does that is different from the previous one, that we might be used to, or the other ones that we're used to, like for example, the ocean theme, right? Or is that this one includes many of these characteristic musical motifs. So this is the starting of the main melody. So the leap of the downward fourth at the beginning, right? Super characteristic of the Zelda music, right?
Yes.
If you heard any piece and it starts with, you'd be like, oh, wait a minute, I know this. And
short, bum, bum, bum,
yeah, and then the upward stepwise 16th notes. Bum, 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 bum. But what this does differently is instead of it being in just a major key, and then using mode mixture from the parallel minor, guess what?
What?
This is in the Mixolydian mode.
No way!
Yes, that's right, Tracy.
Mixolydian mode.
It's another mode. So the Mixolydian mode starts on the 5th scale degree with so it has a lowered 7th. Sounds like this. So normally a major key would sound like this, but now we've got a lowered 7th scale degree. So in terms of this, we end up with this as the background harmony.
It's anchored in that lower.
Right. So if it were a standard 1 major key, what it would sound like is this.
Thank you, Christopher.
You're welcome. You're welcome, George. I can teach you all about the modes. If it were a standard 1-5-1, it would sound like this. Right?
Not the same.
Not the same. Even though it includes these standard musical gestures that we associate with these games, it reorients the harmonic language to tie in with the way that the ocarina does its pitches, right?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what also separates it just from like kind of in general adventure music, just sort of what we can consider like something that would sound like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. It's the heart of it is the ocarina. The heart of it is these bass 5 pitches.
Yes, those 5 pitches. They're the backdrop for basically all the pieces in this game. Draw heavily from, well, how do we orchestrate these pitches in a new way that I haven't done before?
So would you consider that a use of leitmotif? Is these pitches in the ocarina?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's more the way that leitmotif operates in this game is more the way that the ocarina tunes sort of define the sense of place in the game. So like when you go to Lon Lon Ranch,
Right.
right, you hear the little tune, right?
Oh no, the leitmotif. Yes, leitmotif.
Oh no, not the leitmotif. And when you go to the Temple of Time,
Yes.
right, you hear a variation of the Temple of Time music. When you go to the Lost Woods,
Absolutely.
you hear Saria's theme, right? So all these, some of these are character themes, some of them are just, something else. But they all are tied to space and they're tied to place. And this sort of like parsimonious attention to the harmonic language of the game lets Kondo do a lot with a little, so to speak. Right, so we essentially spin out our ocarina of tones to make all the harmony in the game. Now, this is not 100% true, especially a lot of the sideshow games.
Right.
Have just their own little circus music that seems to be totally unrelated to any of the ocarina stuff. But for most of the places, the dungeons, all of that, there's a big tie-in to the harmonies made by the ocarina.
I think what about the shop music? The
yeah, I really don't like that music. It drives me bonkers. Yeah, just to be quite honest with you, Family, let me find it up here.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, it's something that I hadn't thought of. Like, is that shop music also related to the ocarina pitches, or was it like the other mini games, which is just kind of like its own standalone little chirpy tune?
May not have it in my Bucko Muzak.
Oh no, you Bucko. Bucko.
I don't really think so, though. I feel like that's a retread.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if we want to head to Kakariko, I'll talk about the next
topic today.
The next topic today. So if the harmonic language, right, is all about essentially using the few pitches that we, the player, can actually make, right? We are music makers in this game, at least in some limited sense.
Right.
And using that to tie them to like a sense of place or space. Then I want to talk about sort of how in video game musicology, which is like sort of a real thing, there's like a couple people who do it, how that's sort of been talked about, how that operates. So in order to do that, I'm going to use this idea called acoustic ecology, which is sort of thought of by this guy from Concordia. It's a little bit of a nutter. But basically the idea is you could think about space as being a set of relations between objects and actors. And then if you think about that orally, it sort of works the same way. You know, there's a characteristic sort of soundscape of a location that is produced by all these things that are inside of it. You might think like New York City, let's say, or the city in general, right?
Yeah.
You hear the sounds of people walking. You can hear the basso rumble of the train under your feet, cars honking, that kind of thing, right? And that would be very different than the environment that you might hear when you're out camping, right? Where you hear different sets of noises and different relations between noises. Now, this is actually a pretty good way to think about video games. Music in video games, even though, of course, this isn't real. It isn't. But this environment is constructed from an oral standpoint in order to give us, the player, not only a sense of place, so making Kakariko Village be different than the Lost Woods, be different than Hyrule Castle, but also to give us discrete information about the game state itself. So if you think about it here, there's a couple of layers that go on here. We have, of course, the background track, this bucolic little pastoral theme in B-flat major. And again, a throwback to, I think, Link to the Past is when this theme was first introduced. But that's not all that's happening in Kakariko Village. For instance, as Link moves around, right? You can stand near the cuckoos and you hear the sounds that they make sounds themselves.
You can just even just picking up this chicken. There's flapping. There's a peacock. There's like a lot of other sound being added to the theme itself.
Right. When you as you move, you can hear the creaking of the windmill. And indeed, for this first cuckoo game, sound is absolutely critical to it because the cuckoos are hidden. There's one, for example, that's hidden in a box. How do you know it's there?
Well, I can hear it clucking.
Well, you can hear it clucking. Exactly. So then when we think about how does music work in video games, well, it's really part of the game itself. It does perform, sort of what we call, getting the word here, sort of emotive labor, where it suggests to us via the traditions of harmonic and melodic semiotics that we're used to, that we'll hear. We recognize, okay, this is probably a nice place because it's got this bucolic little theme here, right? It's not like it's playing Ganondorf's theme, right? And we think something bad was happening. But also the sound of Link's footprints on the grass, the difference between that and walking up the stairs, and the sounds of the environment itself. Is one of the ways that we as players are able to interpret and understand how this game is operating in terms of its rules. So when we think about game music in general, in order to give an idea of how it's actually working in the context of gameplay, right? We can't we can't just say like, oh, let's just extract Kakariko Village theme and we'll do some harmony, some Roman numerals, call it a day, bing bang boom, because the games are really actively played, and the role of your role as player / auditor, we can't sort of remove that from our analysis, and if you do, you're missing something.
Yeah, we talked about that a fair amount when we streamed Overwatch. Is the music in the game is in the service of giving you information about what's going on, like specifically information of like game starting now, game's ending now, like time's almost running out, things like that. So just really specific points in which you, as the player trying to win the game, would need to know something. And that's slightly different than in Zelda, but as far as like game music in the service of giving you information,
right,
is just another aspect of that. I think I need to be up a little higher. Yes. Okay.
Yes. So indeed, as Justine points out, medium with a little bit of snark. Yes, when you are doing arrangements, typically you would extract all of these ancillary noises.
Right.
Because when you're doing game music arrangement, you're producing something for the Western classical music context, or at least some form of ensemble, and as such, you're sort of bound to a different set of things.
Sure. We can talk a little more about that later. That's true. It's interesting you mentioned samples, because actually just last night went to see at the Symphony, went to see the National Philharmonic, and they had a really fantastic performance of the 1812 Overture, which has a canon.
Yeah.
And we were inside. We were in a concert hall. I wasn't expecting them to actually have a canon like I think the London Proms did some time ago. They're actually outdoors in the stadium with an actual cannon. It was really cool.
They can actually do it.
So yeah, what they did instead was a cannon sound effect. It wasn't as successful as I think they were hoping, because yes, you are providing the thing that is called for, to the letter. You're doing the adaptation as was supposed to be heard, with this cannon coming in as part of the soundscape, but it was really loud. You could tell it was obviously piped in through the house PA.
Right.
It wasn't coming from the musicians themselves. It was just really jarring. And come on, buddy. Gotcha. I forget how I got out of the chicken. I just have to go back around and be careful, I think.
Yeah, so the chicken on the other side of the fence?
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta go up the Song of Storm stairs,
Okay.
fly off, and then throw the chicken.
That's right. Throw the chicken.
Throw the chicken. That's how you do it.
So it's just and I tried to imagine, is that the kind of thing that we should be doing with our game concerts, like with our arrangement. Like, should we be including the cooking noises? Like, should we be? There we go. Should we be doing, you know, all of this other oral sound? No. All of these other oral soundscapes to, you know, be a little closer to the heart of the piece, you know, to the, you know, environment in which the game first introduced this music to you, kind of thing. Or should we be going for more toward, like, you know, the Western music canon, where it is the classical?
You take out all the pitches part.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's sort of odd, right? Because it's super common in like video game music concerts in general to have like a weird video of someone playing the game going on. It's often like kind of badly, and it's a little funny when you think about it. So you're someone playing the game and your orchestra is playing the Legend of Zelda theme, but you're not actually hearing the Legend of Zelda sounds, right?
Sure.
But I think, you know, part of this is just our, you know, our social context of the way what we expect concerts to be like, and what we expect them to do, and we typically don't expect to hear, like, you know, the sounds of cuckoos or windmills or, you know, the day-night cycle or things like that, right? We don't expect our orchestra to start playing the overworld theme, and then after 2 minutes they just stop abruptly. A wolf howls. And then it's just like atmospheric night, like crickets music at night. Yeah.
Like currently crunching. But I think what some of our arrangers do try to do is put those similar kind of sound effects and the oral landscape that you get in a game in acoustic instruments. And that's something that Western music does as well. Like in the Schubert songs, you know, we have the horse hoofs with the fast 16th notes. So it's like there's a very long tradition of doing that, like trying to not necessarily recreate the sounds exactly themselves, but to give kind of the impression of a horse or, say, a chicken, I guess, in the instruments themselves. Like in our Ori and the Blind Forest arrangement, we used, you know, the wood blocks to make the sound of like the woodpecker, like the kind of thing, and the very shiny kind of sparkly sounds were put into the chorus with some kind of ethereal ooze sounding. So it was like there was definitely a desire to include that in the arrangement itself without necessarily piping in some kind of synthesized thing, without having a canon, you know. So
you
happy now?
Yeah, so I think she's happy. No, or do we need one more? Two? Christ on a cracker.
What?
There's one through the gate towards yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't guessed by now, I'm a little rusty at this game.
That's okay. We're gonna have to beat the Dongo's Cavern before our time is up, so that's basically required.
Oh no.
There's one by the entrance, both to the graveyard and to the place itself.
Alright, let me come out back here. Come back, buddy. Cow.
Yeah.
Is that there?
No, I don't think there's one here. I don't think so.
Look.
No, Tracy, you're just wrong. You're just totally wrong.
I can't. Where am I going? I haven't played this since I was 12 years old.
I know, right?
Let me get back.
Of course, I have. I've probably played this game 100 times or something like that. But that reminds me of, so your mention of the canon brings up sort of another way that sound works in spaces like that. So one of the reasons why the canon is so, if it's piped in over the house PA, so super unsatisfying, is that cannons typically are sound that has a source, right?
Yes.
And it comes from a cannon, right? And so you expect it to like be a boom that's localized. And if it's like an omnipresent boom over the PA, right, that takes away from for the drama of this thing. Similarly, right, when in this game when we make this move to a three-dimensional space, sound works to draw your attention and orient like to places you cannot see that aren't on camera.
Right.
Like things that are behind you, things that are to your left or to your right. And if that's flattened out in a mono channel, it doesn't really work to have that same level of information. Don't worry.
Sure.
Long, control yourself.
You
Long.
got it, buddy. Nope.
Okay, it's not even in there.
Start.
I don't remember where the last one is.
Okay. Well,
wait, no, I do. I lied.
Sure.
I lied. It's you have to go back to the place over the fences.
Okay.
And climb up the ladder by the windmill. Did you get that one?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have to take one of the chickens back.
Come
Excuse me,
here.
miss. Excuse me, miss.
Pop,
I'll need to borrow one of your chickens here.
I think there was a National Honor Orchestra that dropped cinder blocks into metal bins and places the cannon in there. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I was expecting like some kind of huge bass drum, like or like big thing of a timpani or something like that. But like, no, they did the PA.
Yeah, and part of the reason why it's unsatisfying is that we understand, right, that sounds have sources. They come from things, right? They fill spaces and they interact with the acoustic properties of those spaces. And in this game, there's not a lot of post-processing going on sounds, but in other games, for example, the one I've written about is Dead Space. Dead Space does a fair amount of post-processing on monster samples to make them sound differently depending on the environment that you're in. That in terms of echoing, or in terms of like the sound-absorbing properties of like being in a large place with lots of jagged things versus sort of a hallway. So that's another way, right? That video game sound sort of produces its sound. It might be able to think of it in terms of an ecology rather than sort of a static thing that just press play. Though of course, again, like I do want to mention, right, the just press play looping video game music is a big part of the aesthetic of video game music, right? And it's unavoidable even in this game, right? We've heard this Kakariko theme probably 10 times, if not more, just finding these things. And here's our jar.
You got a thing.
Right. So we can head up Death Mountain now.
Sure. Let me just pause, save. No crashes so far.
Yeah.
So far. If you make a Final Fantasy VII overworld arrangement, include the battle music every 30 seconds or so.
Well, yeah, and you have to include the loading screen swirl too, right?
I think like there have been attempts to do stuff like that live where somebody is playing and then musicians are also playing along. It sort of works.
It's really hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this kind of crap, it works well if you have some sort of computational intermediary doing it for you. Yeah. That can say, okay, start this piece now, right? Switch this, do a crossfade now.
Yep.
And actual humanoids are very slow at doing those kind of changes, right? That's something that, running these things on machines is good for.
Right.
It's not like there are tiny string quartet inside this box that's being told to start and stop.
But every night they come out and we leave snacks for them, so they won't.
Yeah, so they won't starve.
Yes. We did that thing that you are admonishing us of, Mr. No Pants Man. Tell him I sent you. I'd like to ask a favor of you. No, I don't expect you to do it just because of the great tip I just gave you. I'm just asking.
You're banned.
Yeah, I'm banned. I'm banned from my own stream. Oh no.
Man, this text is just a nightmare, isn't it?
It helps if you push the buttons anyway.
Yeah,
out of
there you go.
frustration.
You do your own little percussion thing.
Yes. This is the oral soundscape. Oh,
that's right. Well, I mean, more sort of performative analysis of video game sound. For example, Kiri Miller at Brown University, she writes about video game sound not in terms of inside the game, but in terms of the environment of playing the game, right? So the performative nature of the whole enterprise, right, with your hands on the thing and so forth. I mean, RPG Limit Break yesterday reminded me of a thing like this where runners who are bored while they're playing do the menu sounds in time to the music, right?
That's interesting.
Right, so it's really common, really, like they switch in FF4, they switch the front character of their party, in time to the world map music because like, man, I'm bored.
Right, yeah, waiting for some kind of unskippable cutscene or some
Exactly.
dialogue you just can't skip.
So you start to just sort of play along with the background music. So the day-night cycle, of course, is another big part of how this game, you know, the sound is used to give you discrete information about the game's state. And also, we see here with the crossfade into the battle theme, is a way that the game. I like using those deckiness, you know, really making best use of childlike abilities. Yes.
Before I even get anything magic.
But you know that it tells you when an enemy is near, which is useful, like when you don't see it right, as you are currently doing.
That's an excellent example of such.
Right. And another way that the Link's sort of capacity as an auditor matters in terms of the way we play the game.
I don't.
Yeah, you'll sort of get near in front of him.
No. I'm one of the Gorons, stone-eating people who live in Death Mountain.
Yeah, I'm glad you can't kill NPCs in this game.
That would be a problem. Except for the chickens.
You can't kill them.
But you can attack them and they will make you very sad. One day, many Dodongos suddenly appeared inside the cavern. It became a very dangerous place. On top of that, a Gerudo in black armor. It was a Meatball Ganondorf, I think.
Yeah, spicy meatball.
Ganondorf Gerudo. We decided his last name was Gerudo. He doesn't have one.
I mean, I think that's canonical. Also, I've always said with the hard G. Yeah, you know, so.
We have a GIF.
GIF just going on here. Want to fight this one out?
I guess because if it was like Gur, I think it would be G-U-R, but G-E-R, like Jerry, you know? Or General.
G-U-R? Like Jerry or General?
Like Jerry.
I mean, lots of GE things have hard G's, like get.
It's true. It's
Gertrude.
The Gertrude people of the desert.
Yeah, it's old Ganondorf spicy meatball Gertrude from the desert.
All right. So here's some information we're getting about the kind of place the Gorons live.
Exactly, right. And the other thing you hear, right, when you're moving around, you hear two things consistently. You hear the Gorons rolling around, which is, you know, even though you can't see them, right, you think, well, what's making that dang old noise? Maybe I should investigate.
Right.
And the other thing you'll hear later as you unlock the spinning jar is that part of it as well. And the sound of that jar spinning draws your attention towards it, and then you can complete the puzzle involving it, which is just throwing a bomb inside of it, I think. And then if you get like a piece of heart from it or something.
Jerry Gerudo's used for a dealership. Gary Gerudo?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Gary.
It's gotta be Gary.
It's got to be Gary.
Hello, friend.
So you had to play Saria's song for him.
Ooh.
So you had to get Saria's song by going back to
I need to go back.
Tokyo Forest.
Okay.
You could save quit. Save warping?
Save warp! Death warp!
Yeah. Wrong warp.
Reverse warp!
Yeah, and for our
Yuppie
next trick, Tracy will be activating the bottle adventure glitch in order to warp into the final credits. Don't worry, she's never practiced it, but it can't be that hard. Yes, I think if we save warp, we do end up back at Kakariko. I mean at the Frog Fractions.
Oh yes, at Frog Fractions. That's what we're going to warp into a totally different game. It's gonna be great.
Cookie Forest.
Let's just do that. Okay. And bang! How much time do we save, I wonder, instead of running all the way back? Oh, we could play our 20-minute Wind Waker demo, maybe. How about that?
Oh, I'm excited for that new video game.
I think I got this because of Master Quest.
Yeah.
And I'd never played either Majora's Mask or the original one. So this was a bonus disc that I got off of eBay. And you know what? It's gotten a lot out of it. But now with the DS re-releases and everything, it's like, huh.
Oh yeah, there's enough Zelda to go around nowadays.
There's plenty.
Yeah.
Alright. So you're gonna have to remind me of where I go from here.
If you just try and leave, I think.
Okay.
Or no, you actually have to go through the Lost Woods.
Fun. Okay.
Bum, 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 bum. So, in case you were wondering about this one, this is another one in Mixolydian. Yeah. So again, we're alternating between the tonic 1 and flat 7.
So is this mode, do you think it makes it sound uniquely Zelda-y?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think Koji Kondo in particular doesn't typically use a lot of modal language in his compositions. In fact, he often sticks to classical roots a lot of the time. And when he does use mode mixture, which he does frequently, he typically borrows from the parallel minor. So for the parallel minor, if this is the key you're in, major key, the parallel minor is. Right. So same tonic, different third scale degree. So for instance, as we've discussed the main theme, right, that B flat major chord there is borrowed from D minor rather than D major. But if you compare the modal language of this game to, say, Wind Waker, Wind Waker is far more straight and away major minor.
Oh.
You have not gone the correct way.
I'm not going the correct path. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Go
all
to
good.
jail, gonna go
Can't
to
make me
jail,
go. You
gonna
can't
go
make
to
me
jail.
go.
You'll
I
go
will
to
not
jail.
go.
See, so
It's straight. No, I remember the way they did it. It's like
you follow the
you
sound
follow the sound.
onto the music, Tracy. See, and you went the wrong way.
I did.
You friggin' frigged it up.
A frig. Sorry, everybody, for the frig.
Yeah. Come on, Tracy. It's right.
No, it's not.
That's left. See.
What if I want to follow the jaunty tambourine instead?
Oh, the jaunty tambourine is everywhere, so I guess you can't really follow it per se. This is a warp. Oh,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah. Who?
Forgot about this guy.
Wilson to Wilson.
Yes, this is one of those parts of the game that can actually get quite confusing because if you don't know you're supposed to go here, you actually have to read what Navi says. And she's like, "Let's go see what Saria is doing" for some reason.
You know, like you do when we're out adventuring, exploring our newfound freedom from the forest. Why don't you go back to the forest?
Hello.
No. No. Wait, I have to go to the warp? No, I don't have to go to the warp. There.
So, interestingly enough, this piece is in the Lydian mode, right? So it starts on the 4th scale degree. With the 4th scale degree being raised, which is what sounds really unique about this mode. And this is not the only time in this game that the Lydian mode appears.
Yeah, that's right.
Indeed, it also appears in the title screen music. Right. So here's another little fun thing. It goes something like this. And those of you who are familiar with your Western classical music might remember this song. How's it go? You recognize this one? Well, other than of course, it's pretty much a direct borrow from Eric Satie's Gymnopédie #1, a common beginner piano piece.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I never played piano myself except for a very short time when I was.
But yeah, what we're hearing in that piece, as well as in this one, is an alternation between 5 and 1 in a Lydian context, so we get the raised 4th scale degree. Reminder: if it were a normal one, yeah, exactly. Indeed, George recognizes it. It's a very common piece. It's also super commonly used in commercials. Probably one of the most common pieces used in commercials. If that were in F major instead of F Lydian, it would sound like this. Very different, actually.
Fewer commercials.
Yeah, way fewer commercials, right? It's like, we're not making any money off of this. So, yeah, adding that, the raised 4th scale degree, so from... And suddenly feels, to me, it sounds a lot more wistful. And also, like, it doesn't really resolve.
Sure,
There's no actual resolution there.
Yeah, we could talk for days about why things sound more wistful or darker or
Yeah.
there, but
So comically, these modes are named as they are, like Lydian, Mixolydian, yada yada yada, because they're considered the Greek modes, and they are so named by Greek musicians, and it was thought that all of them had like different particular characteristics. So like, I think like the Phrygian was supposed to be warlike, and the Mixolydian was like calming and stuff like that. I don't remember all the characteristics exactly, other than Phrygian is warlike.
gotcha. Mixolydian mixes it up.
But yeah, I think
Given choices in some places, I don't think he wanted money.
well, luckily he's totally 100% dead now, so I'm pretty sure he's not collecting any of those royalties. Those sick royalty checks from folders using Gymnopédie #1 and their stupid ad for coffee or what have you. But yeah, so what you should one takeaway, right, is that opening piece with its sort of mournful leaps in the melody. Even though it's in the same mode as this, Saria song is like a super upbeat little bouncy number, right? So these modal characteristics, right, are really malleable depending on what you do with the rest of it.
Yeah, what kind of tone you're trying to go for, or
exactly.
In Kondo's case, what may necessarily be happening at any given moment in the gameplay. And which he does a lot more with Mario, but he does. You see that in Zelda, like you feel it in Zelda with this piece is tied to what you're doing at any given moment. If it's combat, if it's exploration, if it's playing Ocarina.
Right. Yeah. So that hearing that title track, and as I mentioned before, the fairy music, which uses the Ocarina pitches. Already from the title, we're being drawn into the way this game approaches harmony. And indeed, the title track is in the same key as Saria's song.
Cool.
Yes. No worries. Yep. Indeed.
Alright, now we can go back.
Now we can go back and actually continue this game.
The Goron house.
I feel like almost every time I've played this game, if you want to pop down here, you can get a fairy if you like as an insurance policy.
Sure. I like insurance.
I love insurance. What a coincidence. And catch. Yeah.
So how about the fairy fountain as a theme? Is it in a similar place as Saria's song as well?
Let me check actually. Let me check that one. Remind myself of what it's doing harmonically there. I don't. TBQH family, I don't have 100%
That's okay.
memory of some of these things. It's not in the same mode though.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah.
That was an exit.
Yeah, that's
I
one
don't
of
know.
the ended.
I used them all.
Yeah, so the fairy theme uses this repeating 4-note motif with the passing tone between the neighboring tone between the second and fourth notes. That's a neighboring non-harmonic tone there. That's what we would say in music theory lando. And just this descending pattern, generally in the key of G. Yeah. I wouldn't read.
not-
I wouldn't
not
read it. I
terribly-
wouldn't read it as being in a mode.
Gotcha.
It's mostly just sort of this little voice leading thing.
Which I guess works thematically. You know, it's a break. It's a pause from what you're doing in the game.
Yeah. I guess one thing to mention, since I did say, typically Kondo uses when he uses mode mixture, he stays in major and minor keys. There is one exception to that I just thought of, because it's right here on my sheet music from Link to the Past.
Hyrule is under an attack.
So this is using. The characteristic raised 6 there of the Dorian mode. Now this doesn't actually stick for the Dark World theme.
It's just in the intro, right?
I mean the background part thing, but during the melody we get. It's in C minor, or just a minor mode there.
Cool.
But in that one, the A natural is used as a passing tone of descent to 5. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. All these silly music theory
No,
words.
it's interesting just because you're right. I can't think of another time in when that kind of tone really occurs. Like, kind of, I guess, in Termina Field.
Yeah.
With
Majora's Mask.
Mask.
Termina Field is the other example.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not as versed in like the dungeon themes of Majora's Mask as some of the other.
Yeah,
more
I
famous
don't
bits,
remember a lot of
but-
the music
yeah.
in Majora's Mask's dungeons. Per se. I've only really played Majora's Mask one time.
Yeah, start to finish, same with me, but you know the one that sticks is the one that you hear the most, which is the overworld theme.
Right.
By design. Yeah, so
What?
one thing that Kondo said that really stuck with me is the title music should be the most memorable because it's the one that you'll hear the most. Like it should be the catchiest. It should be the most enjoyable
Yeah.
because you're going to be stuck with it for a while. So it just very early on, this kind of fundamental approach to composing for him was we want it to be enjoyable because it's going to be looping a lot and you're going to hear it a lot. You're going to start over a lot. So we want it to be enjoyable for you to listen to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think nowhere is that more true than in Wind Waker,
Yes.
which has like probably the most awesome overworld theme, and also the one you have to listen to forever. It's like, my God.
Yep. Even when you get the warp, you still have to sail some more. I love Wind Waker.
I do too, actually. For sure. Okay. Oh no, you just paused. Okay, then.
That's okay.
I was like, oh God, no.
Oh no. No, sorry. I got you.
Yeah, so Majora's Mask, in many ways, of course, it's going to use a similar modal language as this game because it borrows so much of the assets.
Yeah.
Many of the songs, right, recur here. Many of its some of its new songs are also modal. But after those two games, in Twilight Princess, there's a little bit of wolf howling, but it's like an add-on
Yeah.
rather than the main part of the game.
That's true. This the games themselves sort of following like the core of the game as an instrument, as like when we have the baton in Wind Waker, or we have there's some It's there in Link to the Past a little bit. Like there's a flute. There's a couple of instruments.
Oh yeah, there's always been instruments in Zelda.
Right.
Right. In all of them, there's an instrument. But in the same way that it is in this game, where it's a big part of the world building, a big part of the harmonic language of the game.
Right.
It doesn't really return. Like in Wind Waker, it doesn't really return.
Sure.
With the baton, it's honestly hard to hear what you're supposed to even be playing when you're waving that thing around. Yeah. Flipping through.
All right. Hey, I got a song you might like. I learned it from my fairy girlfriend.
Wow.
Do you have a fairy girlfriend?
My Zelda book may not even have the music
Oh, the Grand thing?
from, I think it doesn't have it at all.
Oh, man. I mean, it's more percussive than the others. It's less...
Yeah.
There's a tune, but it's... Oh.
Oh, wow.
Look at those feet.
Loving this jam.
This is his jam, right here. Oh. Come on. Ah! What a heartbeat. Whoa. Yeah. Yahoo.
Having a good time?
He's like a dad at a wedding right now. Oh man, well, dads around the world, whenever you play Staria's song at a wedding, look exactly like that.
Yeah, all the times you play Staria's song at a wedding.
Totally, yeah. Also known as the Goron's Rubies, a hidden treasure. You are gonna have to go on a quest because this is a hero game. Prove you're a real man.
Wow.
That's rough, buddy.
Wow.
Everybody will be happy again. Yes. Low comes on and the bride's dad is like, this is my jam.
Okay, you done it.
I done it. I put it on. And then
I think it's automatically on.
Okay. No. No.
Don't save.
No.
Tracy, savings for beginners.
Safety strats.
Yeah, marathon strats here.
Marathon strats, yep. I gotta save just in case. Alright, so now I put a flower in the jar. As I recall.
You can. It's just for a heart piece.
Oh, okay.
So I think you can ski Pushimas.
That should be okay.
I mean, a piece of heart, right? So you get 4 to actually get the whole jam.
Oh, we just had a challenge. Goron's greater than Zora's. Fight me.
I always liked being the Goron in
Yeah.
Twilight Princess. Or I mean Majora's Mask.
That's true. I think if you're gonna go on that basis of the actual, like, being one of these things, but...
You would roll around furiously.
And then they would, like, you would get the tempered sword, and it would be really cool. Whee, that didn't work at all.
Wow. You can just leave.
Yeah,
Do the jazz, the jazzy jams.
Get ready for the jazz.
Oh yeah. There's not a lot of jazz in these games.
No.
Yep.
Not really.
Though it's totally within Kondo's wheelhouse, as he
Oh, sure,
he
yeah.
borrows a lot of jazz motifs and progressions in like Mario.
Especially Mario Kart, too. That
Yeah.
was something that really stood out to me when I was just sort of poking around looking for jazz examples in games. It's like, oh, racing games, which, pairs really well with jazz that's very fast, very fluid. But not so much Zelda.
Awful.
Waffle.
Yes, waffle.
Hi. Hi, buddy. Did you see the caverns? Okay. Alright.
So you throw the bomb down.
Over. Oh, that's right.
Yes, and you break the entrance to the cave.
That's right.
And then you get paid
How much?
20 rupees. I think you just put it in front of you.
Never mind. Let's try that again.
The Metal Gear composer started a jazz piano career. Wow.
That'd be pretty cool.
I would like it if you had.
I don't think I did it. Third time's a charm. Luckily, these are eternal flowers. I think that's too far.
That's right, we're doing safety strats, so...
Don't worry, it's very safe. It's all safe. Very safe. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Try again, and bang! What the junk? Did you see how it flew?
I did.
This is buoyant. This is a buoyant bomb.
Yeah, I agree. It's complete BS. When...
Goodbye.
Goodbye, cruel world. No.
No? Maybe? Let's find out.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay.
The game took pity on me.
That was a close one.
Oh, neat. So Nohiko Hibino started a jazz piano career after Metal Gear.
Secret weapon.
Secret weapon. Oh, look into it. What are you doing? You are alone? Boom. There you go. Here, roll down the hill. Ignore the spider jumping at me. I don't like your face. Ba 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 ba. Okie dokie.
Yeah, so in that piece in particular, the overworld, it's sort of interesting because even though that thing, as I mentioned, it's one of the many pieces in this thing, as it's in a mode, it's in a Mixolydian mode. Kono cannot resist, and the first section of the piece is basically a long build up to a tonic cadence in G rather than G Mixolydian. So many of the pieces in their long forms do that anyway. They're in a mode the whole time, but then he just ends in a tonic cadence just because.
Is it because it allows it maybe better to repeat itself, or?
Yeah, I think it's primarily the repetition thing.
I'll watch you stab.
And in many of the Ocarina tunes from the adult dungeons, many of them end with what's called a Picardy third. Picardy third is when you're in a minor key or a key with lower third scale degree, and you raise it for the ending. So I hear, what does that sound like, Christopher? Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Also tune.
So, for instance, with the water temple, the New Wave Bossa Nova. No, that's not what it's called. It's called something or other. That's from Majora's Mask. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so
that was a do 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 do.
Like this. And then we got.
So it does resolve.
Right. So rather than ending with the third that they've been playing throughout the piece, we get this instead. That would be the ending of No Picardy Third.
Gotcha.
With the Picardy Third, it's which is primarily to provide a strong sense of resolution at the end of the the tune while you twinkle away
while you twinkle away.
While you twinkle away.
Twinkle away with me.
Yeah, and the Blur of Fire has it also.
I think on all of the
Almost all of them.
yeah, all the adult ones. Yeah.
I don't remember how it goes.
The one that stands out for me the most is like, oh, I'm so glad that resolved, is probably the Nocturne of Shadow.
Yes.
It goes
yeah.
da da da.
Yeah,
That's when you enter the Shadow Temple.
That's one of the ones where I think it's the most shocking that the Picardy Third shows up when it does, because that one's a bizarre one. As a reminder, it goes, and the harmony for this actually is non-modal. It's quartile. Weird.
Weird, creepy. Lovely.
Yes. So that one is one of the ones that sticks out as being not involved. Quartile harmony, in case you don't know.
Tell me about it.
Typically, you build harmony based on thirds, so notes that are have one note in between them, like. Ah, how nice! But you could do it with any interval you want, and when you do it with fourths, it's called quartile harmony. And it sounds like this. Yeah. Quartile harmony occurs in one other place in this soundtrack, and it's Ganon's theme.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Which, as a reminder, sounds like. So it's all fourths.
Ascending, but not in a clean,
Not in a
lovely
key.
major
Not in a
scale
key.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes on like that forever. Yeah, so then the Shadow Temple has the same harmonic progression as that, actually. I don't know if that's supposed to be.
That's on purpose.
That's a big connection, or just like, oh, the Shadow Temple should have a creepy one, and I'm running out of ways to harmonize the Ocarina themes. But yes, the Picardy Third at the end there is particularly bizarre because it ends in D flat.
What about the Spirit Temple theme? Because that's using a totally different mode to kind of get the sort of like Eastern flavor and desert flavor as well.
Let me see. I don't think it's.
Okay.
Yeah. How does that one even go? Struggling to remember.
It's a
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's the that's one of the temples that actually has its own, like, a recognizable melody.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, one of the characteristic ways that quote unquote Oriental Arabianness is represented in Western classical music is through the use of the Phrygian mode. All right.
All right. Sorry, you're hungry.
Yeah, which is deployed there to give it its characteristic sound. The Phrygian mode is the minor key with the second lowered. So, but when you're representing a desert town place, you often raise the third. Yeah.
Okay. See what you did there.
Does that sound familiar?
That does sound familiar.
That's the little motif. So that is like just that little way of representing sort of the generalized notion of Arabia is so stereotyped that it is even mentioned in Orientalism's famous book that sort of introduced a lot of the ideas that we think of when we talk about the relationship between Western culture and representations of the East. Yes,
cool,
there you go.
I hadn't thought of it as like that is actually one of the few recognizable temple themes. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could count the Forest Temple, do 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 do, but that's not really.
Yeah.
melodic, I guess.
Many of them are very non-melodic. They're very backgroundy. They often feature a lot of sound effects and a lot of noises that are sort of hard to sing along. And I think that that's sort of by design. Here.
Oh no! Look at these bros. Come on, bros. Come on, bros. Let's bro. Let's bro. Let's bro. Tag.
Alright, Trace, you're gonna die.
I might die. I love the lizard man noises.
Yeah, they're
But it's like a backwards dolphin or something.
they're incredibly noisy. Oh, that was the MLG dodge. Oh, nice block.
Jerk. You do your double jerk dance.
Unfortunately, George, I'm not sure if I know anything about the lizard noises other than their obvious game function, which is to tell you that the lizard men are attacking you.
Thank you,
But indeed, making
I shall show this to you and you will leave me alone.
making these kind of noise tracks on early game sound chips was actually kind of hard.
Right.
Yeah, it was really difficult.
And there was a separate channel that was for noise.
On NES, yes.
Yeah.
But when you're doing things like a dragon roar, say.
Yeah.
Like a dragon roar is not pitched per se, but it has pitch content. So if you just use the noise channel, that's a white noise channel, so,
Right.
or maybe it's pink noise. I can't remember. Sort of.
It's for like the airship sound. Or
Yeah. So what happens is you have to sort of slap together a bunch of MIDI things to try and get a thing that sounds like a dragon roar. There were like people within staffs who were like particularly good at this. One of the reasons why Mitsuda was really pushing in his early career to get a job composing, but what he did was sound effects. And one of the reasons why he got given the chance to do Chrono Trigger was because Uematsu liked his sound effects for FF5. In particular, the dragon noise in that, which sounds awful if you listen to it today, but apparently it was really hard to do.
Just for you.
Yeah, that was a good one. You can just slap him in the tail.
Slap. I don't have to hold it.
Yeah, I just think it's a good point. If you are Link and fighting those lizards, these guys are unbelievable. Yeah, the FF5 dragon noise is really bizarre sounding. Like, it's kind of too pitched. It sounds like a little wailing scale. It's really strange sounding. But apparently
hi, buddy.
they were working on that for a long time to make it sound even reasonable.
Because 5 was not the Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah, 5 was the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Super Nintendo's sound chip is much better than the NES in like a million different ways. But it was really good at doing pitched content. I don't like the tuning issues of the Nintendo, say. And they just did not have the capacity on cartridge to do sampling, which is what you really want to do for stuff like that, right?
Or for like we hear with the Dragon Guys like we're hearing now, that
yeah, almost certainly some sample.
Yeah.
Not being produced by the MIDI chip.
There's another buddy.
Yeah, no, I think when the Hydra dies, what's the Hydra's name? I can't remember.
John?
Not John. It also makes a weird sound, which I presume Mitsuda also labored for hours to make the Super Nintendo make it. Yeah, so Mitsuda sticks out in a lot of ways from the the other video game composers because of how much he shies away, in particular, from tonal harmony a lot.
Right.
He uses a lot of not modes per se, but like more impressionistic approach to harmony, where you'll be like two alternating chords that don't really fit into a major-minor dichotomy. And also he favors quartile harmony a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, exactly. That piece heavily, that's generally in what you would describe as a key, but he favors moving fourths all the time, and also like I think Charlotte's theme like has a bunch of fourths. I have to look it up, but yeah, he heavily favors quartile harmony in his work, and that's pretty different from Konda and Uematsu, who generally speaking they stick with major minor.
Let's keep going. Womp womp womp. It's over there. Here we go. Past this robot man.
Nice.
He didn't see me because he's a fool. He only has one eye. That's pretty cool. No? Oh? No? Okay.
Yeah, it's Shala's theme that does all the quartile harmonies in
okay.
it, yeah. Yeah, and that's just sort of characteristic of the way these different, composers work with harmony. You just ignore it. That's not going to do anything to you.
It didn't go up.
It goes.
I swear it didn't go up before.
I swear.
I swear. I already got that. That's right, it's over here. Behind this scary door!
Yeah, one of the weird things that I've always thought about this game is that when you're a kid Link, the doors are so huge. Like 10 times your height. And when you're adult Link, they're like normal size.
That's pretty great.
But when you go in the same dungeon, because you go in the Spirit Temple as adult and kid Link,
Drop.
just take it all.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. That's true. There aren't many giant cavernous doors as an adult.
Yeah.
The blocks are more your size too.
Yeah, exactly. They're not like enormously bizarre.
I forgot what's in here. Presents? Oh no.
That's a bomb door.
You're a bomb door.
Yeah, I know.
Ha ha.
Got him.
Yep.
But there's a present up the stairs, so you should go there.
Probably that's the door, yeah. Let's go get it first. Diddly diddly do. As they say in Zelda Land.
Yeah, that one sound effect that gets played a lot in Zelda concerts is the getting a treasure music.
Ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
Again, not so much the small treasure chest, like the dun dun da da.
Right. Yeah, the big ones where it's like do 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 do.
So would you consider that a sound effect then? Or?
Well, it's sort of somewhere in between. It's definitely pitch, right? You can play it on musical instruments, but it has a real context in the gameplay. And it's a really happy one too.
Yeah.
That's why people are excited to hear it.
Right.
It's like, oh boy.
You've done it.
Yeah. Yeah, these skull toads, of course.
Oh come on.
A big part of
Crack.
of catching them is being able to hear their
hear what
stupid
they're doing, yeah.
scratching sound. From college, I will probably never forget. When Ryan Murphy and I tried to play this game, we tried to get every skull tower by ourselves,
Oh no.
and we would like run around at night, like they would come out at night in the game, and be like, "Did you hear one?"
Yeah, the Okami soundtrack does also have a treasure sound with the depending on how big the treasure is. And
Yeah.
also when you dig stuff up out of the ground too, it'll be like doo 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 da da da.
Yeah, it's got that little shamisen hit. Okami's another game. I mean, it borrows really heavily from all the conventions.
Absolutely.
In basically every sense.
Not in a bad way, I don't think.
Oh, not in a bad way. I think it's a really awesome game, but like, clearly it's a Zelda clone.
Oh sure.
And the way it uses
Get
music
things,
in that
get more
context
things.
is very similar. And then the dungeon design and with the overworld map connecting them, it has more of a sort of story and character thing than Zeldas often do. But
Still a Keese behind me. Time to die, Keese.
is that what they're called?
Yes, it's a Keese.
Weird.
Isn't that just odd? That they didn't call it that. They called it Keese. Yes, we will be talking about Okami in a couple weeks. You should tune in for that as well.
Yeah, Okami's OST is like 5 discs long, and it just has like every single sound effect as like 10-second long tracks.
It is sitting on my shelf right now. But yeah, some of them are in fact like 2 seconds long because it's the ba-da-da or the bah, I think at one point.
Like, why is this included? Unclear. Profit. Yes.
Yeah.
Dang it, capitalism.
Like it, capitalism. Am I supposed to get something back there?
I'm not sure if you missed it or not. I wasn't paying attention, but you got the bombs in here, so.
Okay, well, we'll just... Because there is another room back there.
Nah, just go here and get the Bambu Chans.
You got it, boss.
You don't need a compass or whatever.
Who needs a compass? Not me, Lanko, boy adventurer.
Long.
I like Lanko. Ow. Ow. What?
You never know what will be around the corner. It could be a big giant spiky dude.
Well, I can use L targeting to look in the proper direction. Unfortunately, I've been interrupted very rudely by a little glowy man. So. Ow. That's where it came from. Oh. Oh. Grab. 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 Oh, now I'm done it.
Just climb up it.
Oh. There, can I get in there? Oh,
Yeah, there's just a heart back there.
Just a heart back there.
Beep.
No, stop. I don't want to go over there. Plant nuts. Plant nuts.
Inappropriate.
Where am I going now? I forget.
Yeah, so
I had to bomb that wall, so I think I just went too far.
yeah, the Bambu Chans are in this room if you go the right way.
I was there. Now. Shut up.
Yeah, climb up there.
Oh, I do climb out there. I got confused. Okay. All right.
You were on the right path.
You're on the right track.
So you can jump off here and land on one of the platforms.
No, wrong
That's
way.
the other way though. you can just jump up from the
Okay.
the block, I think.
Let's give it a try. And turn around with the L targeting.
Oh, thanks Navi for dropping. Yeah, I don't think wouldn't go into professional gaming, Tracy. I think that might be.
Don't know what you're talking about. No, it's something that I've just always had with games. It's a spatial orientation thing. I'm just like, I can't see where I'm going. I can't.
Oh, and this game in particular is one of the first models for, having to actually navigate 3D space, right? And so it does feel clunky. There it is. You see,
I see it. There.
You done it.
We did it.
All right, let's get this treasure. Oh no, it's a crab.
It's a crab.
It's a crab. So now you have to time this throw. Yeah.
I remember.
Bugs.
Let's try that again.
No, that's not how it happened.
Yeah, this is. Let me start again.
Nice.
Oh.
You've done it.
I am the champion here. Not
Now
you.
you've really done it. Nice.
That's right.
One and done. One and done.
Yeah, hot strats
One
right
shot, one kill.
One shot, one kill. Go away. I don't like this. Ow. Oh, we're ready for more some honking, guys? Honk with me.
Yeah, you do a pretty good imitation.
Oh, now I got you cornered. Never mind. Why don't you come to me? Come on.
Yes, Tracy's skills are really quite epic.
I too can be a lizard man if I try. If I go to lizard man school.
You work really hard. It's a lizard meritocracy.
Oh. The lizard meritocracy these days is out of control.
It does sound like a goose.
I'm pretty sure it's like, must have been borrowed from a goose or something and then done backwards, like that's what it sounds like.
I'm sure it's almost certainly something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the history of those is really, really wacky. Especially when you go back to like
No, I see a lizard.
Atari and things like that, where they had just such limited resources, how they did sound effects. And also back in the Atari days, there were no actual composers.
Right.
Yeah. It was just like some yokel. They're like, all right, you're gonna do music for this. And they're like, okay.
Sure.
Okay, I'm just gonna make random notes.
In a way, maybe the first game composers were sound designers.
Yeah, more or less, right? I mean, one of the reasons why Mitsuda was hired was not because of his music skill, right?
Yeah. And Kondo as well.
Yeah. It's because
At
you
the
can.
heart of it.
You can do it, Tracy.
I get it. Yes!
You solved the puzzle.
I did. Hop along with me, Link.
So let's put you back in this this region.
I see where I am. And then, yeah, there's the thing that I want right over her.
Yeah. So if you had missed that jump,
I have to do it all again.
yeah, we would be poop socking at 60 right now.
Well, thankfully, we poop socket to nowhere right now,
Excellent.
so.
I love it. I'm loving it.
You're loving it.
I'm loving
I
Mars.
got these bombs. I missed that before. It's made from a Dodongo's stomach.
Yeah, that's how it can hold the bombs.
That's pretty gross, man.
All 20 of them too, which is a lot when you think about it.
Dodongos are hungry creatures. Hungry, hungry Dodongo. It was a popular game in Hyrule. Down. Alright, we did our safety save. Now we have to drop this off into this lizard's nostril. What do you want with me? Yes. Oh, does it really? Now I can quickly reach the second floor. Thanks, girl.
Yeah, there's some.
You got my back, girl.
Some unnecessary hand holding here.
That's the second tutorial level. Can I just say that the guy who did the child dungeons blindfolded is my personal hero right about now. Good go. Link fights a goose, the most terrifying of creatures. Some guy. No, make it a giant lizard man. I am so scared of goose.
Geese are kind of scary though.
They
For reals though.
just...
Like you got bred
They're so
in,
rude.
in the park.
Ow.
Really getting your biz. Nice one. That was a attempted damage boost.
Yeah, but
yeah.
see, as we missed it, we're gonna try it again and just try to
There we go. We
do
damage
a little
boost right
hop.
into the Dongo.
Damage boost into Dodongo. All right.
You can just jump down here. You don't have to take that.
I don't have to take the elevator, but what about this hose bag?
Ignore him.
Ignore the hose bag.
Pretend the hose bag does not exist.
Ah. Who's that shuffling? Oh, hi. Hi.
I block.
Come on. I guess I don't need this letter anymore. Maybe I'll just put that there.
Well, you might need to show it to a monster or something.
Maybe I need to show it to the Dodongo goose, and then he'll love me forever.
You know, I guess those lizard guys are related to the Dodongos in some fashion.
I
They're
thought
all
maybe
lizards.
they were like, yeah, maybe they're like the servants of the Dodongos, like they're the lesser Dodongos, and they live in like their existence is to serve the great Dodongo. Ow!
Yeah, maybe it's just my bipedal bias, but I sort of I sort of assumed that because those lizards were bipeds, they had some form of higher intelligence.
We're
A client species, indeed.
That actually worked out pretty well.
Well, you need to put the
I know, but I mean, the bat can get me here. So okay, well, I can get him too.
So yeah, this is an attempted damage boost out of bounds.
Yeah, see that.
Just go for safety strats.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to do it the way that the game was intended. Clearly. Jeez.
Tracy.
Get it together. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
You killed him.
I got him.
Okay. What are you doing?
Dropping it, and
Yep.
then I'm going to die. Is that what you're supposed to do?
No.
No. Down.
No, you don't go down.
Step on it. Don't need to put a bomb there and then get out, right?
No.
What?
No, you hop up to your left.
That's where the entrance was.
Okay, then to your left again.
Other left? Up
There
here?
you go.
Older.
And it goes in a big old circle and you can push a block down.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be better to put the bomb in and then I could just get out.
And you can just damage boost.
Yeah, I could just damage boost. Clearly, I'm not very good at damage boosting.
There's a lot of pieces here.
Jerk. Thanks, jerk.
This gave you a heart. That was
It gave me its heart
the very next day.
last Christmas.
You gave it,
I gave it
you gave it
away.
away.
But next year, I'm going to give that keys heart to someone special.
Yeah.
You hear?
Yeah. Best put it in the freezer, I guess.
Yeah.
Might go bad.
My high roll freezer. I have one. Pew! That's right, I need to drag that jerk all over there and then push that jerk over to the jerk.
That's about right, yeah.
Alright, you ready for jerk? Nope. 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 Nope.
Long, please.
Long! So enthused. Now if you're doing casual run,
Yeah.
welcome to the very casual run of the Dodongo's Cavern. So strong, so bold. Look at him go. Why can't you ever like hitch up Epona to the block and have her pull the block?
Well, opponent can't go in dungeons. That's dangerous.
I feel like that needs to change. We need to find a way to glitch Epona into the dungeon.
I guess you
and
would.
have her do things for you.
I guess you would support animal abuse.
I only support abuse of digital horses.
Oh, well,
Well,
I'll allow it.
Hard. Oh, hi. Hi, buddy. Oh, come back. It left.
You went out of the world.
Oh, it decided to... Oh, hi. Friendo. There's my friendo. There's some more unfriendly bats.
Yeah, so basically all that block pushing back there is just a red herring. It doesn't actually do anything.
What if I like pushing block?
Well, I mean, now you were commenting on that. You wanted your horse to do it instead of you. So I thought.
Nope. Come on. Here. Pew. You gonna try? Ha! I mean, them nuts.
Yeah, see also geese.
See, also.
That is kind of like geese.
Oh man.
They're awful too.
They're just nasty. And they're like, hey, the regular kind wasn't nasty enough. We're just gonna make elemental nasty geese.
Yeah, if you don't only have the Kokiri shield, they burn it.
Yup. Like jerks. I'll take that. Come on. Open! Kick. Thanks. Splat.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I got this. I got this. I got this. You want to know why I got this? Because I practiced with the lizard goose men. And all of my training has prepared me for this moment. Infernal dinosaur!
Gotta love it. A little bit of intentional damage there.
Yeah, that's I can do.
Put in his mouth. You messed it up.
No, I didn't. Luckily, I've got my safety ferret.
There you go.
It just kind of occurs to me that that's sort of something that we don't hear too often is this sort of dungeon battle music.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This music in particular, I barely even remember.
Hi, turn around, mister. Okay, I'll leave you here. It's funny because, like, we hear a lot of different arrangements of Final Fantasy battle music,
Yeah.
but not necessarily this one.
To be honest, I've never thought that the kind of attempts at battle themes were ever that catchy.
Mm-hmm.
They all tend to just be pretty heavy on these diminished chords, this diminished
Sure.
sound, right? And unlike
Over here.
Uematsu's battle themes, which are like super tuneful and catchy,
Yeah,
um,
it's always meant to be like, it's like, because Mario doesn't really have battle music. I guess
Yeah.
it sort of does in Mario 64.
yeah,
But yeah, you're right, it's sort of like, just kind of there.
Well, like in this piece, for example, there's not much of a melodic context we're hearing or listening.
It's just sort of general mood setting.
Yeah.
Oh, tension, danger.
Right, climbing diminished chords, right? That standard marker of danger.
Standard danger marker. Eat it.
Eat it and love it.
Love it. Oh, look at that. Look what I just did.
It's pretty good, Tracy.
And now, in his death roll, before he leaves us for good, Infernal Dinosaur King Dodongo, ladies and gentlemen. Barf.
Yeah, on a casual run, this guy's very difficult. Often takes 10, 15 tries for new players to beat him. But Tracy's amazing skills on display here. First time, only a 4 cycle, so.
What like you do? I thought you'd be impressed that I could sneak past it without getting damaged.
I did like that you didn't die. That was pretty good.
It's kind of I guess Star Fox kind of is one long battle theme. It's not really.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of the 10 minutes underestimate. That's right. A lot of the battle themes in this game are in Japanese games.
Yeah.
Have a particular set of characteristics they use. Typically, they all have uneven time signatures. So, for example, da 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 da. So it's not in 4, right?
Sure.
It's in 2 long beats and 2 short beats.
5?
It's in 5, but you would conduct it in 4.
Sure.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. So that's a characteristic, and then the second is a lead melody. And what you didn't hear, for example, in that battle theme was a lead melody.
Right. We just heard the
Right, just a lot of sort of affective fluff, more or less.
In Mario 64, it's like the
Yeah, so another composer who tends to also write like that, but in another way, is gosh, what's his name? I think it's Hitoshi Sakamoto, who did FF Tactics and Final Fantasy 12, and also Final Fantasy 14, I believe. And he also tends to write not in a completely non-tuneful way. But he borrows really heavily from sort of romantic orchestration techniques. So
when we say romantic orchestration techniques,
yeah.
How would you describe that?
So when we have an orchestra, right, we have strings, winds, and brass primarily. One of the big turns that happened during the Romantic period was, first of all, the development of the French horn, which is not a natural horn. A natural horn plays only really well in its own key. So that's why when you hear Mozart pieces, the horn will be like, because that's kind of hard to do anything other than that. But the valved horn let horns play chromatically. So this sort of led to a large expansion of the brass section during the Romantic period. So you went from like having, 2 French horns, double winds, up 2 clarinets, 2 flutes, to then like triple winds, and then like quadruple winds, and often 4 to 8 French horns.
Wow.
And so that leads to a little bit of what you might describe as bombast.
Gotcha.
So Wagner, for example, used octuple horns in many of his pieces. And a characteristic one where you hear all those horns in action is Flight of the Valkyries.
Yes.
So romantic orchestration tends to, which is, I probably had the most influence in terms of like film music and stuff like that. Takes a lot of use of horns, a lot of use of brass. Sort of the combination of brass and strings is characteristic of sort of film music, as filtered through the Romantic era. Yep.
So, more horns every day, all day.
Yeah, more horns than trombones as well. So, yeah, like when you compare now, and it's not just the quantity of horns. It's also the pitches that they'll be responsible for playing. Natural horns because they have a fixed length, basically you blow at varying degrees of hardness into them. Please no band twitch. And then you hit different pitches in the overtone series. So the overtone series is mostly. That's kind of all you can do. Which is why hunting horns, right, sound like ba 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 like that. But what the French horn does, the big technological change, was when you press those buttons, they change the internal length of the pipes so that you can play chromatic pitches.
Neat.
There you go.
I've never played a horn in my life.
I have neither, but I have taken music history where they make you learn this crap. Yeah, and so in the transition period, which was around Beethoven's lifetime, you couldn't exactly count on having your hornist having a newer valve horn. So they might have just a natural horn, and what they would have to do is mid-piece they would screw out the pipes and screw in new ones to change the length of the pipe.
Oh, weird.
And Beethoven in particular really pushed the envelope with what he would ask horns to do, and in particular in the Ninth Symphony in the final movement there is a horn solo which is intensely chromatic and apparently caused many horn players to be like, no, I refuse to play it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because it was too hard to play on a natural horn. Because you just can't make chromatic pitches very easily. You have to like jam your fists inside of it to try and change the length of it. Obviously, the great part about video game music is at least the one that's all synthesized. You don't have to worry about actual instrumentalists playing these things at all.
No.
Which you'll often see in especially in earlier works by Mitsuda, not by Mitsuda, by Uematsu. You can tell that he was not really thinking about instrumentalists playing these pieces. And FF6 especially, there's a lot of passages where you're like, yeah, this is like voiced with like a faux violin, but I don't think a violinist would really actually ever want to play this. Right? And that makes sense because there's no reason to be bound by the limitations of a person playing these notes. When
Do you think that factors into composers in general, or do you think it depends on?
Yeah, it really depends on your training.
Yeah.
For example, both Uematsu and Kondo, instrumentally, they tend to write as if they are composing for instruments. But I think because of Uematsu's history as like a prog rock guy,
Sure.
he's used to noodling around on the piano, right? With just like rapid movements and scales. And he just takes that aesthetic and applies it to the music and just puts it in different instruments. You can hear some interviews with him talking about doing One Winged Angel, which
It was based off of Deep Purple, I think is what it was. Or no, Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Yeah, one of the purples.
And there's just he says one of the hardest parts, right, was making it for instruments because that one's really clearly designed to be an orchestra, be played by an orchestra. It's quite difficult too. Though, of course, not for professional orchestra.
No, it's to say nothing of the version that appeared in Advent Children that just has this like metal rock breakdown in the middle.
Yes, exactly. You just pick up the guitars.
Oh, the great fairies in this game. Should I have changed the rating to adults only for this
Yeah,
one?
for real. I think so.
Are so beautiful.
Children, cover your eyes.
Alright, well now I've got my cool green magic bar. Oh, another one of those unskippable bits. I just kind of curious, like, game composer who primarily did, say, chiptunes before composing a game versus someone who was classically trained, like what kind of approach they would take in their own soundtrack composition.
Well, almost all, I mean, so the shift to Japanese video game dominance that happens after Atari's crash, there's a big shift there in that when the Nintendo sound chip was designed by a practicing musician. And then when they hired people in-house, like Kondo, who was in-house for a while, to do composition, they were hired directly from music academies with classical training. Almost every single big name Japanese game composer from that era on is classically trained, right? So they're not gonna be like, how do I write a fugue, right? You know, it's like they all know how to do it, and then you can, in many parts, hear the parts where they throw in fugues and counterpoint and all these things. Kondo does it actually very frequently.
Yes.
When
the Great Fairy hugs, do you think she hugs with her hair, like 7 limbs wrapped around the G-tight?
Oh man.
Well, it is the Great Fairy, not the Great Octopus. If it was a Great Octopus, then I think maybe we could talk about it.
I'm pretty sure we could find an image of that, and it would not be safe for this stream.
All right, so we are about at time. So let's maybe head over to the Zora's domain. And while we're there, just in closing, do you think you could maybe share what about video game music draws you to as a point of study, or what?
Yeah, so I don't do. I think the thing that I was mostly drawn when I was in undergrad, the reason why it appealed to me, I think, was one of the reasons why we have gamer symphony orchestras, which is that the music draws very heavily from the classical tradition, and I was already drawn to that kind of music already.
Sure.
And I felt like this was a kind of music that, is part of the classical music tradition, but isn't really, addressed or covered by musicology. So that was what first drew me to it.
Sort of like a gap.
Yeah.
that needs to be filled.
Right. So, but what I found as I went on, that I became less interested in the music itself, so to speak, and more interested in the cultures that came around it. So I became more interested in things like why do people want to make video game remixes? What kind of music do they use when they remix music, and what does it mean when they do it?
Right.
At places like, for example, while I was doing my master's, I did ethnographic work at MagFest.
Yeah.
So I became just far more interested in those cultures, and then as I moved on to my graduate work, I kept on being interested in the cultural component, but I became more interested in how that related to the technology. So in terms of computer history.
Yeah.
So it started, I think, for most people who do academic work, it starts with something that you like. And for me, that was video game music. When I learned to play piano, I was self-taught, and I learned to play like by buying these things, right, from incredibly expensive overseas music. And indeed, if you look at my Xeno Gears piano arrange album,
I love it.
It has me writing in the notes, the note names, because I couldn't read either of the clefs for the piano at that point. So yeah, it started off for me with the fan interest, and then as I pursued my academic career, I became more interested in other elements of it. And in the academy, there's not a ton of straight video game musicology music theory that happens for some of the reasons that I mentioned, which is that using sort of just treating it as though it were concert music really ignores the multimodal nature of these games. The fact that they're played with your hands, right? And all that stuff. So you hear most of the people who do work with video game music do so in ethnomusicological sense or in history of technology sense.
Yeah.
Which is a tradition I would generally limit myself with. Now, I actually haven't written about music for years, probably, except for I do have a chapter that was published recently about nerdcore rap, which is related to video games strongly.
Absolutely.
Right? It constantly references them. But yeah, that's
very cool.
sort of my background.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our stream today. Thank you so much for being here. I learned a lot. I hope you all watching got a chance to be bombarded with music theory as well.
I learned about some modes.
Some modes and some Mixolydians.
Some Mixolydians, some Dorians, some Phrygians, some Lydians, throw them out there. Next time you're having a conversation with someone who plays an instrument, you can pretend like you know a lot more than you do. And don't worry, a lot of practicing musicians have never really heard of these, so they'll just assume you know what you're talking about.
That's so good. All right, so we will call it a day from there. Thanks again so much for watching, and we will see you next week with a special guest conductor chat with our conductor, Nigel Horn. So we will see you then at 1 p.m. on Sunday, and until then, see you later. Bye-bye. You gonna play us out?
Yay!
Yay!